Hello everyone, welcome to my tapping channel. My name is Sandra and today we're going to be talking about the 10 most common limiting beliefs that are stifling you and stopping you in your tracks from reaching your full potential and totally being who you are in the world. But before we dive into that, I am the author of Tapping into Abundance using EFT tapping and the law of attraction to change your mindset and turn your life around. And if you want to do just that, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you want to book a one-on-one clarity session with me so that you can get more clear about what is stopping you from being able to reach your potential and live your life as who you know yourself to be underneath the self-doubt and the confusion, there's a link in the description field below this video for how you can book a free clarity session with me over Zoom. And that session is really just about us getting together, me asking you a lot of questions to help you get clear about what is actually in your way and stopping you from moving forward in your life. What's keeping you blocked? What's keeping you in self-doubt? What's keeping you struggling with that fear and not being able to confidently be who you are in the world? You can also watch my free masterclass called How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers. There's a link in the description field below this video for that video as well. That goes into the whole shadow work thing about what shadow work is, which is really just looking at those parts of yourself that you're not aware of, including these limiting beliefs. You can have the light shadow and the dark shadow. We talk about that, and I also talk about how the beliefs that you have also affect you at each chakra level and how you can heal yourself at each chakra level so that you're not only healing yourself from, stopping yourself from doing what you really want to be doing with your life and being who you really are, you're also working on physical healing and emotional healing at the same time. It's a free video called How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers. There's a link in the description field below this video. So let's dive into belief number 1. And that belief is, I'm not good enough. All of these beliefs are most likely have been picked up from childhood, from your parents, your caregivers, your teachers, your schooling, your culture, friends, family, television, media, everywhere. Anywhere that you're exposed to human beings as a child, you're exposed to the potential for these beliefs to be there. And either you're told these things or you insinuate these things from the way the adults are behaving around you. And you may also mirror these beliefs from significant adults in your life when you're a child. So you may pick up that one of your parents had that belief and you mirror that. So you end up with this belief, and it's going to stop you in your tracks from going out there and doing the things that you need to do to have the lifestyle you want to have. Everybody has this belief at some level, some more than others. It's the number one belief, and often it's the belief underneath all of the other beliefs. I have a tapping video that shows you how to tap on this belief so that you can start to clear it away and feel like you are good enough, especially at the things you're actually really good at, because you may be really good at things and there's a part of you that knows that, but then there's another part of you that's saying you're not good enough. And so you kind of have this argument with yourself over something, and you may stand back and not show how good you are at something because you're worried that somebody's going to slam you in some way, and that deep down inside you're really not good enough anyway. The second most common belief is, I don't deserve success. And this can come from, again, childhood. Maybe you were told you were selfish. Maybe you were told you were greedy. Maybe you were told you were lazy. And so you don't deserve to have the good things in life, the success that you want, because you haven't put enough effort in for some reason. You're not doing it the way that you should be doing it. And that can make you feel like you don't deserve success. Maybe it's come too easy. You haven't done the work yet. There can be a spiritual belief that whatever you believe in on a spiritual level, if it's a deity of some sort, that it's always putting you to the test and that you've got to prove to that deity that you're good enough to have success. And you'll never will be able to. You'll always be on the treadmill because that belief's always going to be there unless you go and you change it. Number 3 is, I'm too old or I'm too young for something. The truth is, sometimes you are too young and you are too old for some things. That's true. But most of the time, if it's something that you're wanting to express or explore, there's a way to do it at any age. And it might not be the same as it is for someone younger than you or older than you, but at least you can do it within the framework of where you're at. If you're young and you feel you're too young for something, then it's probably just a case of getting more experience and getting in there and doing it until you get the maturity and the wisdom. If you feel you're too old for something, if you've got the physical capability to be able to do it, then how are you too old? It's looking at what you can do and working with that. So don't let age be a barrier to you expressing who you truly are in the world. Number 4 is I'm not smart enough. A lot of children are told that they're dumb or that they're stupid by either the adults around them or the other kids around them or siblings. And so you grow up believing that you're not very smart, and that will stop you from educating yourself in areas you'd like to be educated. It'll stop you from learning things that you'd like to learn and doing things that you'd like to do because you feel you're not smart enough to be able to do those things. A big belief that a lot of people have, and I find it very common in the technological age, is this belief that I'm not good with tech. And so people will end up shunning technology because they believe they're not good at it. And so they get left behind as the technology improves and more and more and more technology starts to take over. And that can be really limiting because it can leave you behind, because if you embrace the technology in a positive way, you may find that it could actually help you do more of the things you actually really want to be doing. It can speed up things. It can take on some tasks that can really give you more time because you're not having to go through all of the processes of something. You've got AI there, for example, to do it for you. So embracing technology, because it's not that difficult to do these days. It's very user-friendly. It's not what it was, say, back in the 90s or even back in the 80s when it was first coming out and it was all DOS programs and you had to learn programming language and it was difficult. It's very user-friendly now. Another belief is, and this is a big one, that money is the root of all evil. Why? Why do we blame money for people's belief in lack? Why do we blame money for people's greed? It's not money's fault. Money is simply the tool. It's like blaming food on eating too much of it or feeling like you're going without or doing emotional eating and not being able to lose weight. It's like saying, well, it's food's fault. It's not food's fault. It's not money's fault either. The root of all evil is our ego's belief in scarcity and the ego's fear of going without, which causes greed. That's the root of all evil. The root of all evil is us not knowing who we truly are and just how powerful we are. And that the ones in control of the society and of the education system and all of those things keep us believing those things. That's the root of all evil. Not us not knowing who and what we are is the root of all evil. It's got nothing to do with money or any other thing out there. Money is just a tool. And if you have the belief that money is the problem, then you're always going to struggle with money. And you don't want to struggle with money. There's no need to struggle with it. Don't let that belief stop you from being able to embrace the abundance that you can embrace and be who you truly are in the world. Number 6 is I must be perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. There is no perfect. So stop trying to aim for it. It doesn't exist. There is no perfect. Perfection belongs to nature. It belongs to the universe. And even then, nature doesn't always do things perfectly at all. Nothing is the same in nature. Everything is different. Every leaf is different, even if it's on the same tree. Every tree is different, even if it's the same species. There is no two things that are perfectly alike. There is no perfection in the human concept of perfection. Number 7 is I can't change. And this is a real difficult one. A lot of people want to change, and maybe you've tried to change and you've tried different modalities and you've tried different things, but you just don't seem to be changing in the way you'd like to, or as fast as you'd like to change, when in the reality, you probably are changing, you just haven't noticed it because it's a very slow, progressive thing. And you can stop yourself from changing in the belief that you can't change. So therefore, you almost refuse to change to prove that belief to be true. And that's going to hold you back. It's going to keep you where you are. If you believe you can't change, and that's one of the reasons a lot of people don't go in for doing courses that could help them change or working with a coach to help them change, is because they believe they just can't. It's like, well, I don't think I can change, so why would I want to spend that money working with somebody? And that's not a good belief to have, because you're stopping yourself from having the opportunity to change that belief in the first place so that you can then change when you're working with somebody. Another belief is others' opinions of me define me. Always, we're worried about what other people think of us. We are a social species and we kind of need each other to survive and to thrive, pretty much, as a human species. So the worst thing for a human being is to be ostracized. And so we really are terrified about what other people think of us, more so than death itself, in a way. That fear of what other people think of me defines me. And we really have to get over that one, because people think different things for different reasons. And if you're constantly having to change yourself and put on a mask all the time in order to come up as being the type of person other people want you to be, then that's going to make you feel resentful. It's going to make you very, very low on energy, because you're giving your energy away, and it disempowers you. There's a lot of that goes on in this day and age, where there's always the worry of, people calling you names, which is a very big thing these days. There's names for everything. And nobody wants to be called those names. People don't want to be criticized for certain things or told that you're this, that, or the other. If you've done your shadow work and you know what's down there in your shadow, what other people think of you isn't as big a deal as you thought it was when you first start out. You start to learn that you're not what they say you are. You know what you are. You know what your shadow qualities are, and you know when you're being those things. And when you know that and you've integrated your shadow, when other people start to try to manipulate you and control you through calling you names or, criticizing you in order to get what they want out of you, or to force you into believing something that they believe, you won't be triggered by it. You'll have the confidence in yourself to go, well, I actually disagree with you, and this is why. And it's up to them then what they do with that information. Number 9 is there's not enough time. I still struggle with this one. There's not enough time. It always seems to be things you've got to do and people you've got to see and responsibilities. And so there's never enough time to take that time out for yourself, to take that time out to even do this inner work, to tap on your beliefs, to change them, to spend that time on you. But you can make that time. You can actually make that time. And what is it that's got you thinking there isn't enough time? What are you committing to time-wise that you don't really need to be committing to? Why are you committing to those things? Is it, again, because you're worried about what other people think of you? Is it because you think that you're not smart enough or you don't deserve success? There might be other reasons why there's never enough time. And the last one is, I'm a victim of circumstances. Yes, we're often a victim of circumstances to some degree, but that doesn't mean we have to take on the victim role of always being the victim of circumstances. We have to start taking responsibility for the way that we think and the way that we feel, and try to turn any situation into something that works for us rather than against us. When we're working from a more energetic perspective or a more spiritual perspective, we have to be the eagle and fly above all of the mundane beliefs and the mundane world that we're in. We have to fly above that and see things from a much broader perspective. And that perspective is that we are always the ones who are in control of what we're thinking and what we're feeling. We can control that. We can change what we think. We can have mastery over our feelings. We don't have to give our power away to everybody all of the time. And when we are saying I'm the victim of circumstances, even if you are to some degree, you have to get out of that really fast. Because if you stay in that victim mentality, you're giving your power away to whatever it is that has caused the situation. And that's not empowering. That is disempowering. And if that's something that you have trouble letting go of, if you're having trouble letting go of being the victim, then that again is full of other beliefs. What's not safe about not being the victim? And why is it safe being the victim? What do you get from being the victim? And you'll find you probably get a lot from being the victim. You may get attention from other people, help from other people. You could still have those things even if you weren't the victim. And some people can have the opposite. Some people can never allow themselves to be vulnerable and in that vulnerable position of a victim. And sometimes they have to work the opposite way and embrace their vulnerability. That sometimes they're vulnerable. Sometimes they need help. Sometimes they need other people to come in and help them. So it can cut two ways. So they're the top 10. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve success. I'm too old or too young. I'm not smart enough. Money is the root of all evil. I must be perfect. I can't change. Others' opinions define me. There's not enough time, and I am the victim of circumstances. If you have any of these beliefs, it's time to change them. It's time to look at them. It's time to change them. Sometimes you're not good enough. Okay? Sometimes you don't deserve success. Sometimes you are too young or too old. Sometimes you're not smart enough in that area. Sometimes, I wouldn't say that money is the root of all evil, but sometimes you might be clinging to money in the wrong way or thinking of money or falling more to the victim of a scarcity mentality or a greed mentality. Sometimes you're not perfect. Well, none of us are ever really perfect. Sometimes it's difficult to change. Sometimes other people's opinion will affect you. If you're going for a job interview and they don't like you, you're not probably going to get the job. Sometimes there isn't enough time. And sometimes, yes, you are the victim of circumstances. But it's most of the time that's not the case. And when you can do the work of knowing that sometimes you're not good enough, but most of the time you are, and that it's okay not to be good enough in those circumstances and accept that, then that can actually be incredibly liberating and incredibly empowering to realize the truth of these things. That sometimes you don't deserve success because maybe you haven't put the work in that somebody else has put in. And sometimes you're not as good as somebody else at something. And being realistic about the situation. But if you've got these beliefs and they are causing more of a distortion in your thinking, and you are actually good enough, but you keep saying that you're not and believing you're not, it's time to change those beliefs and be realistic about those beliefs and allow yourself to be good enough when you're good enough and to be okay with not being good enough when you're not good enough at something. And just being okay with that, because that's part of self-acceptance, accepting what is and what isn't, and just knowing that about yourself and not being caught up in the struggle of keeping yourself small and keeping yourself disempowered because these beliefs are in the way and you're not approaching them from a realistic perspective. So once again, if you want to do coaching with me to get through these beliefs, book a free clarity session so we can have a chat first. There's a link in the description field below this video. There is also that free video, How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers, where you can learn more about shadow work and how you can balance the chakras through doing that shadow work at the same time. Link in the description field below this video. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Sandra, and I will see you on the next video.